Good evening. Happy Halloween season. Oh, it feels like home. You've seen the title. It's time to make Halloween costumes for Calico Critters. I've just become absolutely obsessed with these little guys. They're so cute. I do have what some would say is too many of them, but don't you worry, I got plans for all of these little guys. One of them being Halloween costumes. And while this is a lovely little pastel number, it's 'tis the season. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm thinking.
My apologies about this recording being so topsy-turvy. I didn't realize that the recording function for this app would pick that up. I learned in the next two are more stable. Now, I am not a candy corn lover. I do not eat the stuff. My husband does though, and he loves it. But visually, candy corn is quintessential for Halloween, so our little buddy is going to be here to represent. Here he is. He needs a name and for someone to hold his candy bag for him on Halloween night. Holding the trophy for first place in everyone's hearts, it's a crunchy autumn leaf falling off trees, much to the joy of children and chagrin of dads everywhere. Now, this costume and the last are kind of what I would call the sandwich method, where you just cut out a big front and back and then make sure there's a hole for the face. I figured this would be the easiest way to make multiple of these costumes for the season. Here's little guy number 2. I'm feeling the name Reginald for some reason. It's ill-fitting, but in the perfect way. He's scared of a stiff breeze and has a personal vendetta against Littlefoot. So the last 2 costumes were sandwich costumes, but this one's gonna be a proper outfit. That's right, we're making a little Moth Man baby. No father required. This specific design is actually influenced by Rachel Maxey's vintage design. I liked the dress plus hat look and thought it'd be a simple design to make real itty bitty. Here he is. He loves dust baths and has a love-hate relationship with car headlights. Meet the volunteers for this fashion supernova. This tomcat right here is going to be our Moth Man. He is the full adult size and has the Latte fur pattern. And here are the 2 sandwich costume candidates, both the smaller child size, a toy poodle and Marshmallow mouse. I'm thinking the poodle will be the candy corn and the mouse the autumn leaf. So as far as materials go, I have this mysteriously glitter-covered felt for the sandwich costumes, but I also have this beautiful yellow fabric that I want to use for the leaf. For the Lepidoptera legend, I have some black fur, but I also have crushed velvet. I haven't fully decided which direction to take, so we'll come back around to that. First off, I need to make a pattern to reference to make sure that these guys can actually get into their costumes. I roughly measured space for the heads, but I ended up cutting it way smaller in my fabric to start and then adjust as needed, which thank goodness because the original was a bit oversized. In order to accommodate the size of the mouse's ears in this costume, I had to make the leaf pretty dang big. Because these guys are little, it looks fine, but I want you to scale this up proportionally to human child size and think about how freaking big and impractical this would be for trick-or-treating. The sandwich costumes need to be stiff enough to hold their own shape, which is why I went with felt. But remember the leaf, I wanted to use this yellow fabric, so I cut a piece of that and ended up just gluing it onto the felt. Since I used fabric for one, I wanted to use paint for the other to see if I had a preference for future projects. They're both similar in speed and ease, so I guess it just depends on what you have on hand. To not only further secure the fabric to the felt, but also to make the edges look nice and finished, I took some embroidery thread and went around the outside of both felt costumes, something that was not easy to do with all these points on the leaf. To zhuzh up the candy corn, I got out my beads and sewed different ones to the front, color coordinated. Then the candy corn costume got the same embroidery edge treatment, color coordinated of course.
Welcome. I hope you could see that.
Overnight, apocalyptic scenes unfolding in Arizona.
To me, unboxing and using for the first time the airbrush that I've had for, I think, 2 years? I have yet to use it because I thought you needed to get like airbrush specific paint, which, oop, wait, there goes the tip. You can get airbrush specific paint, obviously. I just have never really taken the time. But recently I learned that you can take regular old acrylic paint and just water it down and put that in your airbrush. A lot of times it comes out a little patchier than fancy airbrush paint, but we're gonna at least give this a shot. And what we'll be airbrushing is the veins on the leaf costume. So let's try it out. Oh, that was too much water. God dang it. Do I have another container? Here's the lid for my fabric clips. Just a little bit, just a little. Okay, and then we need more paint. This is probably gonna need more water now. Oh, it's chunky. I wanna get a little bit of paper. This'll work. How loud is this? Oh. Oh, let's pick up some of this paint. Hopefully you don't ruin the airbrush. And then a test. Have I done something wrong? Oh. Okay, interesting. Let's test on the back first. Okay, that's nice. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna pull little man out of here first. Okay, this is awesome. And then I kind of want to just hit like the edges a little bit. I'm obsessed. Whoa, stop it. Okay, I'm gonna put what I have left back in here. Maybe just work through what's left in this. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more brown to this color so that I can get some darker tones in the veins of this. Let's try that out. It's a little darker. I think that's pretty dang cute. I might mess around with it a little more, do like some yellow highlights or something, but I think I need to clean this out first. But then I'm well happy with that. The only other thing I need to figure out is a stem on the bottom of the leaf. Okay, let's talk about this Moth Man costume. I have black fur, but I do not have a pet shaver. However, what I do have is black crushed velvet, scissors, and glue. And I'm thinking what I want to do is, because the crushed velvet is going to be way easier to handle, I'm going to make the base outfit out of that and then cut off tufts of fur and just glue it onto the velvet. I'm not quite sure what I want to do about the hat, whether I want it to also have fur or just be the crushed velvet. I guess we'll kind of see when we get there.
Okay, so for the base layer, I took the outfit our volunteer came in and used it to get some general proportions, as well as figure out where to cut 2 slits for his arms to pop through. After a test fit, it was looking pretty acceptable, so I went ahead and glued that sucker closed. In my genius, I thought that cutting bits of fur and then gluing them onto the crushed velvet would be perhaps a bit tedious, but worth it. However, I found out once I had cut off my tufts of fur, the length on the fabric was actually quite nice and achievable. So I cut our friend out of the crushed velvet rough draft and used that as a pattern to cut a shape out of the fur fabric. I trimmed it up to a nice length, found the right distance for the armholes, and glued him into that dress. The process of making the hat was quite trial and error and a huge mess, but here's how it turned out. For the Mothman's glowing red eyes, I used some more beads. For the moth's antenna, I took some pins and just shoved them through the head. Talk about a headache. I covered the ends in glue and pressed them into tufts of fur that I had cut off the fabric, and trimmed them up nicely. For the wings, I used some scrap shear tulle from some lace I had lying around. I layered it up until they seemed substantial but delicate, using hot glue to not only bond them together, but create almost like a frame for each piece. I was feeling confident after the leaf and pulled out the airbrush once more. I based the coloring and pattern very roughly on an emperor moth, building up the color as I went. With those final pieces done, I glued them into place, and I think it's time for a reveal. Gonna get some candy corn.
She's a wolf in
Moth
clothing. The
Moth.
moth's ghostly howl stakes claim to
Now, I really would appreciate some congratulations on the birth of my family. I am their biological mother. Glad we all agree on that. But truly, I am so thrilled with how these came out. I feel like if you make anything with Calico Critters, it's gonna turn out cute. It really doesn't matter. There is no ruining it or messing it up. I also had such a fun time working with my airbrush. I did learn, and this is a problem that I've kind of always had with my art in classes, I need to really turn up the values. Like everything just needs to be a little bit more intense. So I do think I need a little bit more practice, but as I said, anything Calico Critter, adorable. I want to make more. I'm going to keep working with them, so if you have any specific ideas, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this spooky little adventure with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. This feels like the most blurst Yu-Gi-Oh deck. It's time to duel. My deck has no bad cards. I'm telling you, I am not a lady who feels maternal instincts, but these little guys, Also really quick, thank you guys so much for 700 subscribers. It shot up really quickly. I'm having a really fun time with this YouTube channel. I hope you guys are as well, and just thanks for watching. It's really cool. Thank you.